10 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few kickers I look to start this week. The first guy, Younghoe Koo of the Atlanta Falcons. So Younghoe Koo, he's been solid the last 3 weeks. Week 7 at Tampa, 13. Week 8 at Tennessee, 12. And Week 9 versus Minnesota, 19 fantasy points. So this week here, another dome game in Arizona. Gives up the 8th most fantasy points to kickers on the season. So Younghoe Koo, we know he's got a good boot. We know he likes his indoor games. And we also know he's better at home than he is on the road. So I know this is a road game, but like I said, Arizona's defense isn't all that great. I could see both teams settling for field goals a lot, where their offenses for both these rosters isn't good. So right now, Younghoe Koo playing great football and top 10 in fantasy points at the kicker position. Once again, I have him as a start this week. The next kicker is Matt Gay of the Indianapolis Colts. So Matt Gay, I've been mentioning him week in and week out, and he's still out there in a bunch of fantasy leagues, over 50%. So Matt Gay, weekly, it's pretty much 8 to 10 fantasy points you could pencil him in for. So right now, this Colt team, they're a team that don't punch it into the end zone, and a lot of drives stall out. And like I said, Matt Gay, the last few weeks, he's putting up points. Week 7 versus Cleveland, 8. Week 8 versus New Orleans, 10. And Week 9 at the Panthers, 11 fantasy points. So this week here in Germany, indoor ball games, Patriots give up the 6th most fantasy points to kickers on the season, where they are bend but don't break type of unit, where in the red zone their defense actually buckles down and can make some stops. So right now, with their offense not driving it into the end zone a lot, and the Pats defense bend don't break, I think Matt Gay once again this week has a good ball game, and he's a start. Next start, Riley Patterson of the Detroit Lions. So Riley Patterson, the last few weeks, he's starting to get things going for this Detroit Lion team. And before the bye week, he had 14 fantasy points versus the Raiders. So Week 10 here, we know it's going to be a shootout most likely with the Chargers and the Lions. An indoor game at Los Angeles. And like I said, this Lion offense is a high-powered offense. Jahmyr Gibbs has emerged. Jared Goff's been playing good football. And Sam Laporta, what a rookie year. Now Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best receivers in the league. So right now, with all those factors and a Charger defense that don't really stop anyone, where I could see Detroit up and down the field in this game here, I got Riley Patterson as a start, and I think once again anywhere 7 to 9 fantasy points is doable for him this week. The next kicker is staying in the same game, Cameron Dicker of Los Angeles Chargers. So Cameron Dicker, he's been one of the better kickers in the league, I believe, here, and he's on a high-powered offense with this Charger team, playing good football, and he's another guy, 7-10 fantasy points weekly for the most part. So right now versus the Detroit Lion team, where their defense at times has been don't break. Another indoor game here for Dicker, which is always a plus, obviously. I think in this one versus the Lions, like I said, a potential shootout. Both kickers are going to get 2 or 3 opportunities minimum, I believe, to kick field goals, and also obviously some extra points. So right now with a good matchup, and a guy who's got a boot where he could kick it 50, 55 plus. He's got great range. I like him as a start this week. In the 5th and final kicker, I look to start Brandon Aubrey of the Dallas Cowboys. So Brandon Aubrey, he's been out of nowhere this season, former soccer player for this Dallas Cowboy team, and he's made life easier for this offense this year, where on the year, he's had some great games as Brandon Aubrey. 4 games in the first 8 with double-digit fantasy points. So the last few weeks here for Aubrey, Week 6 at the Chargers, 8. Week 8 versus the Rams, 13. And Week 9 at Philly, 7 fantasy points. So right now, Week 10, it's going to be a game where this Cowboy team, most likely, they're going to get off to an early start. And this could be an easy victory for them once again, where we saw in Week 1 versus Giant team, they won 40-0. So this week, he's going to get opportunities as Brandon Aubrey. This Giant defense has improved over the last few weeks, but offensively, they've gotten worse with Daniel Jones out. Tyrod Taylor, their backup quarterback, out as well. It's either going to be Matt Barkley or Tommy DeVito, I would imagine, in this game. And also even Darren Waller out in a bad offensive line. So right now, Cowboys going to be on offense a lot in this game. Opportunities will be there for Aubrey. Even though I could see the game where it's majority extra points, he's still a kicker you put in your lineup each and every week. So that's a few kickers I look to start here for Week 10 of the fantasy football season.